Okay. Hey, Norman, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing for this opportunity. I mean, judging by your LinkedIn profile, you have a lot going on. You're a coach, you do Amazon consultancy, you're an entrepreneur, you host podcasts. So I'm wondering when people ask you what you do at conferences or elsewhere, how do you typically respond?
I just shake my head and just say, "Do you want the Reader's Digest version?" And yeah, so no, I just let them know that the companies that I have are sort of vertically integrated. It's not like I have, a ton of. I have three main companies working in the e-com, but they're all related: systems and logistics, Amazon managed services, and e-com managed services, and then the content marketing and public relations company.
Right. And I saw that you studied film in college. Has
I
that in
did.
any way influenced the way what you do now?
Absolutely. Right now, especially on the video side, video marketing is everything. Like I read an article from Thomason.com, and they said that video marketing compared to images, there's a 480% more engagement rate. So we've been able to do video press releases. We do vlogs. Like if all the content that we do, we also create it as a vlog. We rescript it, but it gets people to stay and watch and land on our pages longer. It also helps for Amazon accounts. So when we're doing a product video or we're going out and asking people for testimonials, we can edit it. We can edit it all together. We have a lot of social content that we could put together, repurposing. So yeah, it came in. I mean, I thought I'd be doing something in feature films, but that's not going to happen.
That's actually very interesting because I have a video background myself. I used to have a video production company back in Russia, and we were working with a lot of different brands. And one thing that I found is that video is this amazing medium because when you create like one video, you can break it into many content pieces. You can have a text version, you can have an audio version, you can have like short snippets and quotes. So it really helps when you're creating content at scale to start with video.
You know, I was talking to a guy yesterday. I've got nothing to do with the company, but exactly like you just said, you need to repurpose video, and it seems to be really tough, but it doesn't have to be. I'm using this app called Repurpose.io. I'm plugging it because it's a great app. I have nothing to do with the company, but if people are looking at trying to get into video, it's so easy to use.
Interesting. Is that an app for an iPhone, for Android?
Yeah, it's a web-based
Okay.
program, so you can store everything on the cloud, and then you can distribute out to multiple channels all at one time, different hashtags, different. I mean, it really is a great simple system.
Great, interesting. And yeah, it seems to me that the future of digital marketing, when you have all these different types of content coming together, like Twitter just added voice feature recently. So now like podcasts and Twitter is coming together and videos repurposed in different styles. That's interesting. But coming back to Amazon FBA, I've read somewhere that you're the person to ask questions about Amazon FBA that people don't know how to answer. So I've got one that I usually ask. Should you start an Amazon FBA business in 2020? And if so, how?
Okay, so yes, you can definitely start an Amazon FBA business. If you do not know what you're doing, if you're just going in, like let's say you're a manufacturer trying to just get into Amazon because you've heard that's the next gold rush, you'll
Right,
fail. You will fail. You
right,
need to know what you're doing. You need to study it. You need to take a course. There's a lot of good courses out there, like amazing. ASM just brought out ASM 12. A freedom ticket from Helium 10 is a really incredible course. There's lots of courses that you can get. Go through it, understand it, and the parts that you don't understand. Let's say you don't understand how to drive traffic from Facebook. Outsource
right.
it. Like, the best way to succeed is to have experts work with you. So maybe you're not a creative person. Maybe you're not a photographer. So these are some things that I tell people when they're launching on Amazon. if you're not better than the next person, you'll lose the sale. So if
Right.
your pictures are done on your iPhone and you don't know how about lighting, or you don't know about a proper lens, uh, the person that does have that, that's next to you, might have an inferior product, but they'll get it. Like Beta and VHS, for those of us that remember Beta and VHS, Beta was far superior. VHS had the marketing, and they ended up, just being the name. But and then it's also understanding how to market on Amazon. People don't spend in the right areas, so PPC, they want to save money, so they bid really low. What we try to do is we double, triple the bid at the beginning, because we on an automatic campaign, so we can gather information. We want to know what people are looking at, and Amazon provides that report. So if you start a PPC campaign and you put it on automatic over a period of 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to get a ton of information. Then you can put it into a manual campaign. And then, if you want to just spread it out a little bit further, you've got your listing optimization. So like I said, it's got to be better than the competitors. Just research your competitors, go onto Google, go onto Amazon, check them out. Then to launch, most people do a very poor job in launching. So we call it the 3 pillars of launching, where you've got PPC, rebates and press releases, and Amazon posts. So PPC is simple, right? You put it on an automatic campaign, you let it run, overbid, and you'll gather that information. You can slowly start to see what your converting keyword terms are, and then you make it into a manual campaign. On the ranking, or on the rebates, again, a lot of people go cheap. They try to go and do you want me to explain about rebates, just in case people don't know what they
Yeah,
are?
sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so a rebate is not a discount. Okay, so Amazon does give you the ability to go in and write an 80% off or 90% off coupon. Completely different thing. If you do that, you're not getting a verified purchase. With a full price rebate, what you're doing is you're working with a group, you're working with a platform. And the platforms like Rebate Key, Rebate Jet, and Telesales, there's a bunch out there. Those are your platforms. You can also get a concierge platform like Rank Bell. She's probably Isabella Hamilton. She's probably the biggest out there. And she'll go and she'll find a group in the product niche and ask them to do certain things. So the rebate, what it is you're giving away a full product free of charge. Okay, they're going in and buying it, and they're basically testing it out. And then
Right.
Amazon, and then what's happening is PayPal or whatever, some escrow account, is paying them back in full. They get 100% back. Okay, they're not paying a penny at the end of the day. Amazon sees it as a verified sale. You get extra sales ranking because usually you're going to apply it to a keyword. They're going to be asked to apply it to a keyword, and then your ranking starts to move up, and then you link it to a press release. So the last thing is Amazon posts, and a lot of people don't know about Amazon posts, but that's Amazon's social media. And what you can do there, very, very simple, is you can, when you have an Amazon product on an insert, you can just say, tag me with your product, and have a chance to win $50 or a $500 Amazon gift card. And you'll get a ton of posts with people showing social proof that they're using your products. Then you can go over to Amazon post it, and it looks like an Instagram post on it's only on mobile right now. You can have a brand page. It's brand new. You can drive traffic back to a brand page, but it's really used on your mobile phone where you can see it. So those are the main things you can do for Amazon. And then you've got to think about the traffic, external traffic. I mean, Amazon's great, but you can find people that have no idea who you are. And how do you find them? So you can either advertise on Facebook, or if you've got something that's visual, or especially what women like, on Pinterest. Pinterest is a women's platform. It is. Did you know this? the per dollar value, per order value, Pinterest is double any other social network out there.
I
So
didn't
the
know that
people,
actually, but I did heard from a friend of mine who does digital marketing at a big agency that Pinterest is like the number one for driving traffic, and like it's so underrated, underappreciated by people.
I know. And so, especially if you've got something that's visual, like right now, if you're into anything at home, like let's say you're providing beauty products to women and it could provide a spa like experience. Women are dying to go to the spa. You know, it could be any product. And if you can show that they can pamper themselves on Pinterest, you could get a ton of extra traffic and a ton of extra sales. So, and that could be anything, like right now with pets. And this isn't just Amazon. If you've got a Shopify account, you know, or if you're doing, you know, e-commerce or like a drop shipping, and you're driving traffic through Facebook, and you know it comes up on your feed, you know, about your dog. People are pampering their pets, you know, more than themselves. I know. Excuse
Right.
me. I know that like we sell a product that for humans, it's just soap. Okay, so that's one of the products I sell. And now I'm going to give away my secret, but I sell soap to humans, but I double the price, same soap, put it in a little different package, and it's double the price for people who own pets.
Yeah, because people are willing to pay extra for the pets.
Oh, they love
Yeah,
their pets.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways,
That's
those are a
great.
few pointers. You know, so I have no problem saying, yeah, get into it. If you're undercapitalized, forget it.
Hmm.
So you need to have, I would say, take a look at the product cost, so your cost of goods. And if you don't have at least 2.5 to 3 times your inventory, then don't even bother. You need to have at least that. And typically it's around $10,000, $15,000 now, because
Hmm.
you've got to get the marketing out there. And the other, I mean, it's a good issue to have. Let's say you hit a home run and you get tons of sales. You don't know what your number, and actually this is perfect for your app. I mean, you have to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you could easily fail. I dealt with a company once, $10 million company. They were losing $100,000 once I took a look at their sales. I put everything together. They thought they were doing great. $10 million company.
Yeah, it happens all the time. One of our first users at Sellerscale actually shared a story that he was making 40,000 per month in revenue. He confused revenue with net profit, and he thought he was doing great. But it wasn't until he plugged in his numbers into Sellerscale he realized he was actually losing money. So I mean, this happens all the time. People don't dig into their numbers, understand their unit economics and the fundamental expenses that go with each product.
Yeah, that's what that drives me crazy when I go to all these events. I wish they changed this, but I guess it just doesn't sound as good. But they'll get up, like they'll be announced by somebody, and this seller is an 8-figure or 9-figure,
Right,
not,
right,
not
right, right,
anything
right.
9-figure, but 7 or 8-figure. Tell me about their or their net profit. I don't care
Right.
what they sell. Did they make money?
Right, right. It's actually the same thing in Silicon Valley and startups. Everyone is judged by the valuation. Like this guy raised $10 million and $20 million, but nobody's talking about users, growth, and bottom line. But I liked what you mentioned earlier about a couple of things. So one thing, you talked about online courses, right? And you mentioned some very good online courses, including from Helium 10. We had a few guests on this podcast, and the opinions on courses usually diverges because there are people because there's so much content. There's a lot of bullshit, a lot of poor quality content. So how do you decide whether a course is legitimate or not? Because there's so much stuff online for free. Should you pay for information when there's so much stuff online on YouTube, on different blogs? And if you do pay for information for online courses, how do you find the ones that are really relevant to your business?
Well, I mean, that's a great question, and there's probably going to be, you know, a lot of people that are going to hate me for this, but I, you get what you pay for. And if you go and you find a YouTube video, why are they not backed up by a course? You know, if they're just doing it for free, I'm wondering why. What are their accreditations, and what are they
Mm.
doing? What did they sell? You know, a lot of courses are from failed Amazon sellers.
That's right. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
they know how to make their money. They'll sell the tools to the gold miners, but they don't know how to sell. And so they're, and I've seen this a lot where you see techniques that were used from years ago when they were around, but not anymore. And you want to find a course, this is really important, that produces updates. And
Mm-hmm.
the course, who's behind the course? So if you
Right.
take a look at, let's take a look at Freedom Ticket. So you've got Freedom Ticket's Kevin King. Take a look at his background. Helium 10 Elite. So this is the beauty of and I don't make anything off of anything that I'm talking about. But if you go to a company or something like Helium 10 and you join their elite program, not only do you get the course, but you end up getting the elite program, which is once you finish the course, it's all these things that you can do every month that could improve your sales. So I take a look, you know, Kevin's face is everywhere. If I take a look at ASM, so Amazing Selling Machine, you take a look at Jason Katzenbeck and Matt and Mike and Rich. I mean, these guys have made more millionaires on Amazon than anybody. Now, you might get some bad press because it didn't work, but you know, for some people, but if you follow their guidelines, these guys are in the know. And then take a look at, you know, they have other areas of their company that they have all this knowledge for business. Like it's not just Amazon, they have business related, you know, knowledge. So you can tap into that. The Freedom Ticket, Freedom Ticket changed. It used to be a separate program. It's free now. I mean, it's a very good program. It's free when you have Helium 10 Elite. And then ASM, you can check it out. It costs a couple $1,000s, and I would pay that all day long, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to get into that because you've got the quality. The way that they've put together their modules are you know, it's fantastic. I know another one, Brandon Young, he's got a course out there, but there's a lot of good courses. Take a look at who it is. Take a look at what they've done. You know, are they on other podcasts? Do they know what they're talking about? I know that there are some that I really do laugh at, and I can't say their name because they'll sue the heck out of me. But you know, you just have to really take a look. You know, if they're standing in front of Lamborghinis, and you know, if that's what's drawing you in, rather than the content,
Right. It all depends on the
look at
yeah. It all depends on the why, on the motivation.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Because it's really hard to understand when there's just so much content information. What's worth it and what's not. Another thing that you mentioned is PPC, and you mentioned that you can just turn on automatic ads and let it build history, let it build sales rank for you. But and you also mentioned that you should outsource everything that is not relevant to your business or to your expertise, to your particular expertise. So I'm wondering whether PPC, which a lot of sellers find a bit difficult at first, especially if that's their first product. Is that something that you should do yourself, go through this learning curve, or should you outsource it from the very beginning if you're not interested in it?
If you've got one product, you know, one or two products, I would try to learn and pay your Amazon tax. Right? Learn to understand the program, right? And we'll try to listen. Like Brian Johnson's got an excellent course called Sponsored Ad Academy.
Mhm.
I think that's what it's called. And I mean, there's lots of courses out there that will give you advice on how to, um, you know, how to do this, and stick with it. See, understand it. Just understand the principles behind it, and then if it gets unruly, you know, try to find somebody to take it over. You can either go to an agency or you can Go and try to find somebody on like free up for one, like free up, or free up's good because they're vetted outsourcing. They're vetted contractors. So you know that they know PPC. You might pay a little bit more, but they know what they're doing. A lot of agencies might be out of touch. Like they're going to charge you. They're not really interested in small accounts. Where somebody, if you go to like an agent, like a contractor, like Upwork, which is not vetted, onlinejobs.ph, not vetted, free up vetted. The other way of doing this too, if you're really looking for people to help out with your Amazon account, and I highly recommend creating SOPs from the day you start your Amazon account. So you're planning, first of all, you're planning for success. And then secondly, you can take whatever is a pain in the butt and hand it off to a VA right away. And
Right.
most people try to keep, everything close to their
Right.
chest and do it themselves. Wrong approach. Give it to somebody and pay the bloody person. Don't try to be cheap. If they say $2, give them 2.5, give them 3. And that way they're more loyal to you and they're not going to be out looking for other people to pay them. But there is a great course called Outsource School. It came out just a few months ago, and that's Nathan Hirsch and his partner Connor. They used to own Free Up, and now they came out with this incredible, and I say it's incredible because I've actually taken it on how to go and outsource. And I've been outsourcing for 20 years. So how to build how to build SOPs, cheat sheets, and just really good instructions. So
Why do you think it's difficult for people to outsource? Why do they want to control everything? Like, because it makes sense, right? It makes rational sense. You don't need to go to business school, get an MBA degree to understand that you will scale faster, right? You will focus on what's important. But why is there this block, this barrier to outsourcing?
it's called the entrepreneur roller coaster, and it was outlined in a book by Peter Gerber called The E-Myth. And
Right.
typically what happens is you've got this passion, you're out there and you're selling and you're that ship in my background. Oh, I got to sell that ship. I put it together. I didn't, by the way, I can't even hammer a nail, but, you start selling and you get busy, your sales start to take up all your time. So what do? You go and you find somebody, Upwork, wherever, and you give them all the tasks that you provide, like you want to give them. Okay, how to do this, how to do that, but you don't train them properly. So what ends up happening is it's a formula just to destroy them. It's a failure formula. And they don't have the proper instruction nor training. You just get mad and just think that, well, nobody can do it as well as you. You take it back. Well, you take it back because the sales are plummeting. Now they start to go back up. You hire somebody else because you can't. There's not 25 hours in a day. It's the
Right.
exact same thing. So all it is really is if you can take, and this is a whole other conversation, but just again, Reader's Digest, if you can take those crazy tasks, it could be just customer service, it could be just checking your email inbox, it could be a lot of different things that you can do. Show a video, create a video on exactly how to do it, create an SOP. So an SOP is not a policy and procedure. A policy and procedure will provide definitions, will provide the purpose, will provide the SOP, the reporting. But with an SOP, the standard operating procedure, go through every single step. If you have to take your mouse and go to the top right corner to click on Zoom, gallery view, you've got to tell that person that. If you assume, like you just put click gallery view, they might get lost and they might hit something else. And so they don't have proper direction. The other thing is just to get on and explain it, and then let them explain it back, and then give them the freedom to go out there and make the mistake. But usually, by the time they make that mistake, they can say, oh, that was step 19. Ah, okay, step 19. What didn't you understand, and how are you going to fix it? Then you understand, I don't want to be the problem solver. So if I'm hiring somebody, I want them to come to me with a solution.
Right.
So ask them what they can do. And then they come back. And if it is wrong, then you just, you let them know. No, I don't think you grasped it. This is the way you do it. The one thing you don't do is you don't scream and yell. Different cultures, especially Philippines, they like people really do try their hardest. Uh, it's funny, but in the Philippines, you will get the wildest excuses, and this usually happens when you're either treating your VA really bad, or if you're not paying them enough. But I mean, I don't know how many times a person's mother can die. I mean, it's always, I've got an emergency, somebody in my family's sick, my kids are sick, and for the most part, I think it's just, people getting a better offer, maybe $1 or $2 more. So
Right, right.
I know for a fact, with our VAs right now, the ones that are with us for a while, like we always check their computer speed. For sure, we get them to take a snapshot, their internet speed. We typically buy them a phone, we buy them a computer, we buy an upgraded, like if whatever their high speed is. And if they're with us long enough, we'll buy them a generator, especially if it's Philippines. So we know that they can be
Wow.
on on track. Yeah, I mean, it's worth the investment. If you spend a few $1,000s, right? What's that? It's a few
Right,
thousand
right.
dollars, and I get every single person that I work with, I pay well. I pay really well.
That's really interesting. Thanks for that, Norman. And I think that this is something that you only get with experience. And uh, speaking about experience, in your, is it like 20 or 30 years? I read somewhere on LinkedIn. I think it was 30 years of
Yeah.
experience, right? Selling on Amazon. What's the most important lesson you've learned about business in general or selling stuff online in particular?
Okay, so I'm just going to clarify it. It's e-commerce. My first e-commerce
E-commerce. Okay.
site was way back when, but
Right.
Amazon's only been about 5 years, like since it's exploded, believe it
Right,
or not.
right, right. Makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
My, you know, I I tell people that the first time you get kicked between the legs, it can really hurt, and you don't understand the pain unless you've been kicked between the legs. If you get kicked between the legs 10 times, you get kind of used to it. 100 times, you kind of accept it. You know the feeling. So that's what I tell people. Like, you've got to be able to, after time after time after time after time, that you get hit between the legs, you've got to stand up. And all I'm talking about is you have to be resilient. If you think that, um, if you think that, oh, I don't know, the one day your inventory is not arriving, or you get suppressed, or you get this other issue that comes up, it'll be solved. It's usually 99.9% of the time not as bad as you think. So a lot of people that I know and a lot of people that I've talked to, they give up just as they could succeed. And the people that are resilient and they can, one of the things I remember going back, 30 years, the stress that used to keep me up at night, and I've had bleeding ulcers, okay, just like I could not sleep. It was insomnia, it was horrible. And I take a look at that type of stress and what I went through. And now, if it were to happen, it would just be like, I don't even
Yeah,
think
right.
about it. You know, it's just it's just something you've got to live with. It's never going to be as bad as you think, and as long as you want to pursue it, and you have to and I'm gonna give a mixed message here, but you have to look at what you're doing, and you have to understand whether or not to cut bait. And all I mean is, if it's not working and you're looking at your numbers and you've done everything, you've gone to your manufacturer, your costs can't come down, and you have an envelope where you can't, go past, you can't do marketing, then cut bait. You might have lost a few $1,000, big deal. Life
Yeah.
goes on, you'll find something else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That actually reminds me of Seth Godin's book. It's a small book. It's called The Dip. Know when to quit and know when to persevere, because there's two types of quitting. Quitting when it's bad, like when you're quitting too early, when it gets difficult, when you have this dip or dip. And the good quitting is when you should quit, when you were waiting for the bus for an hour and you say like, it's been an hour already, but no, it's been an hour. Go home, right? So that's something similar.
Yeah. So that's me.
Yeah, yeah. Great, great. I actually have one last question for you. It's our traditional question. It's from Peter Thiel's book, Zero to One. It's called contrarian question. That's like the question that every entrepreneur in Peter Thiel's definition should ask themselves. What is your contrarian view that goes against commonly accepted notions in the Amazon industry? What is something that you believe that very few people agree with you on, if that
Oh,
makes sense?
I have one thing right off the top. And in Amazon world, we talk ACOS. Okay,
Right.
so with PPC, most people will say you have to drive your ACOS down.
Right.
So everybody's trying to get, oh, I've got 5% ACOS. I've got 12% ACOS. I look at them and I see that and I go, wow, that sucks. I mean, you're leaving money on the table. So if you're not from I mean, to be able to do 20% ACOS, okay, that's fine. But some of our clients will be at 50, 60, 70% ACOS, 100% ACOS. And it depends because let's say for a product like soap. Soap is a product that you would use. You're done every 2 or 3 weeks. You're going to repurchase it. Well, if I can get somebody to buy that soap once, I'm willing to give it away for free. Take
Right.
it, and then use the brand, enjoy the customer experience, and come back. So I can run it up that high. But let's say that you're not that big of a risk taker. You still want to diversify your keywords. So I like what I'll do is I'll go out there and I'll get my main keywords and I'll start marketing or creating campaigns. Those will probably have some fairly good, fairly low ACOS, but then I'm expanding it. So let's say you have a product like no, not essential oils. Let's say it's soap and it's natural soap, handmade soap, all those keywords, right? But then you can get into the ingredients and you can get into the aromatherapy type ingredients like lavenders, relaxation, or whatever you can do in your research, and you really make it wide. Well, you're experimenting, which is going to bring in bigger ACOS. But what you're looking at is your total ACOS, your tacos. And if that's going down while even this is going up, you're winning. It's the total ACOS you have to look at. And those people that are saying, oh, you've got to just be at 20% or 15%. I mean, there's going to be people that are going to just pass out hearing this because all they've heard is that you'll even have a lot, like I know a lot of PPC agencies and owners, and they don't agree. But this is something that I do completely different than other people.
That's interesting. I actually heard a similar approach uh, from the founder of Profit Whales. That's like the Amazon advertising automated service, SaaS company from Russia as well. Yeah, they have a similar approach. They say that your ACOS doesn't necessarily, your low ACOS doesn't necessarily mean that you're winning, because your high ACOS may be to build sales rank. And as you mentioned, you can have this retention and you can build the relationship with the customer. So yeah, I guess it really depends on the product category. And it's interesting to hear that. Uh, this was great. Where can people learn more about you and your business? Where should we send them?
Well, they can reach out to norm@prreach.com. That's 2 R's in there, PRReach, or on social media at Norm Farrar. And the other thing is I have a new podcast. It has nothing to do with Amazon. It has to do with businesses, business failures, and how people came back from those failures. And interesting backstories. And it's called I Know This Guy. And it's available wherever you hear your podcasts.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Norman.
You're very welcome.